Hello, and welcome to my video for the mean stack demonstration. So I'm going to be upfront and say that I failed at implementing the mean stack for this assignment. I had a difficult time with the various technologies used in being able to actually get them fully implemented together. So I understand that Angular drives the front end, and then Node.js and Express work together to allow for Angular to be able to communicate with MongoDB and pass data back and forth between each other. But I really just ended up being overwhelmed by the amount of new technologies in the mean stack that I got exposed to in this assignment. Not only had I never had previous experience with anything in the mean stack, a lot of the tutorials I was following along through and looking at all advocated for using additional software and libraries to implement the mean stack, which kind of just resulted in new technology overload for me, and I really had a hard time getting my bearings on any of the technologies really. So the app that I wanted to make was a simple fitness logger. Upon getting to the application, a user would just enter key data points about a run they had, and then upon hitting submit, their data would be sent across the backend to MongoDB, where all of these data points would be stored into the database. And then what the database would do, it would pass back the entirety of all of the records in the database, so that way the user could get a list of all of the runs that they had logged into the application. So the HTML for this is fairly simple, pretty straightforward. I actually didn't get around to implementing any of the particular features of Angular for my front end. And then looking at some of the back-end stuff I had started working on, this file here is what was running or attempting to run my server, or handling the communication on the server. This file here I was having make connection to my MongoDB, and kind of from there is where I ended up hitting a big hurdle. I had a hard time getting past that from there. I wasn't able to see the kind of data that was being passed and forth, and that ended up being just a major roadblock for me. In this file here, I've got the schema for the table that would be in my Mongo database. This right here would just be the schema for it. So that's as far as I got with the application. Once I got to actually implementing MongoDB is where things kind of started going downhill, and I couldn't progress past that in the time that I had left. So talking a little bit about the mean stack, so I guess the big determiner for when you would want to use it or not is just really depends on the type of database that you need, since the mean stack uses MongoDB for its database, which is NoSQL based. So say if you're trying to decide between the mean stack and the LAMP stack using MySQL, which is a relational database, that's probably going to be the biggest determiner for as far as like technical needs that you would have. So say if you need to make frequent changes to your database, the structure of the database, you'd probably want to go with NoSQL because that's a little less headache-free to do as opposed to, say, SQL. If you're not concerned with like the consistency across the database in terms of how it's structured, you'd be probably more you'd probably like to use NoSQL, because since it's non-relational, you don't really have to worry about different data structures impacting the other tables. But in SQL, since it's a relational database, you really need to be wary of the structure of all of your tables in the database. So the mean stack has the primary advantage that I saw is that it's almost entirely it is entirely JavaScript based, which allows you to only need to know JavaScript to really be a proficient full stack developer on the mean stack. And alongside of that, Node.js supposedly, from what I'd read online, has the most amount of libraries made for it compared to any other language, which I can imagine makes it an extremely powerful tool to be proficient in, because you're able to probably build applications at an extremely fast rate, since the libraries out there are already available to you. So in conclusion for this assignment, the mean stack definitely was not what I was expecting. I was expecting something similar to the LAMP stack, which I considered to be very user-friendly, very easy to get set up and going. The mean stack was not at all that. There ended up being a lot of additional legwork that needed to be done that I found to get it up and running. This may just be because I had previous experience with the LAMP stack, so I'd kind of been biased to it as opposed to mean stack, which I had no experience to. But overall, even though I wasn't able to complete the assignment, I still feel like I pulled some valuable information in that and was exposed to a whole new slew of technologies in this assignment.